Well, hello there, folks. I hope things are going well. We're going to go ahead and get started on the fifth and final section here of Chapter 5, in Section 5.5. It's going to look at a variety of different things, really. The title of this section is Powers of 10, but it's going to be a little more in depth with some different things, too, I think, than just the powers of 10 with all that. First thing is, as you start to take a look, by the way, this all begins on page 233 in your book. And as you start out on page 234, excuse me, one thing it kind of talks about there is what negative exponents will do to different pieces and what the exponent 0 does to different things too. And once again, this begins on page 234. If any number you have to the 0 power is 1. So if you have 18 to the 0 power, the answer is 1. If you have 2,000 to the 0 power, your answer is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So keep that in mind. Negative 2 all to the 0 power is 1 with that. So keep that in mind. The other thing it talks about there too is what negative exponents do like in the numerator and denominator of fractions and just with whole numbers too. Let's say we had n to the negative 1 power. That's the same as 1 over n, which is really to n to the first. Right there. Let's use another one. Let's say we have x to the negative 3. That's really the same as 1 over x cubed. Okay? So that's kind of how that works that way. Let's say you had 1 over h squared. That's really going to be h to the negative 2 power. Because as the variable in this case, or the number goes across the division sign there, it changes signs that way. And that's what happens here. Basically, this is just the reciprocal of, well, it's not really the reciprocal of it either. It's you change signs on it and you move it to the other side with all that. And I guess they do kind of call it the reciprocal and negative exponents. It all kind of works in there with all that too. So, the other thing they talk about with section 5.5 here, they talk about that piece, and they also talk about multiplying and dividing by powers of 10, and we've kind of talked about that before already. But the other thing is as you work with powers of 10, or even other variables going forward, it talks about how you can multiply powers of 10 and divide powers of 10s, and you have a power of 10 to a power. And that whole stuff starts on about page 236. And really, in this case, what it's talking about is if you have a number base 10 to some power a, and you're going to take it times another number base 10 to some power b, for your answer, you just add them together. You have a plus b, 10 to the a plus b power. So, in other words, we can work one here that we can show how this works. Let's say we have 10 squared times 10 to the first. Okay, all right. So what we just said that when you're multiplying, you add the exponents. So this would give us 10 to the third. And what we have here is really 100 times 10, which is 1,000. Okay, which is what this would equal also that way. Okay. Now the other piece it talks about here too, well, and the other thing is if you're dividing, you subtract the exponents. So if you had 10 to the 7th divided by 10 to the 2nd power, that's going to give us an answer of 10 to the 5th. Because what I did there was I subtracted the exponents. I had 10 to the 7 minus 2. I subtract them out, and I get 10 to the 5th, which is the answer that we had down there with all that. So that's another piece to keep in mind too. When you're multiplying base 10s, you add the exponents, and really you can do it anytime the exponents are the same. But here you're going to be working a little bit more the same type idea. But when you have exponents, when you're dividing, you're just subtracting those. And we can go through sometime too, and I can show you the math behind that and show you that it really does work. I had that on my board all the time with all those things too. But that's page 236. Once again, you're adding. When you multiply, you just add the exponents. When you're dividing, you subtract the exponents. Now, one other thing I want to show you here too, and that's on the top of page 237. In fact, I'm so excited about this, I am going to pull out a new piece of paper to write it on with all that. So on the top of page 237, I lost my pen. On the top of page 237, it kind of goes through some of those things too. Sorry, that's on page 236 where that starts. On 237, it also talks about what you can do when you have a power to a power. When you do that, you multiply. So in other words, let's say we've got 10 squared to the third power. Okay? What I have to do there is I multiply the 2 times the 3, and I get 10 to the 6th. It's going to be 10 to the 6th. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because this really means 10 squared 3 different times. 10 squared, 10 squared. And then as we continue with this too, then we know when we're multiplying, we add our exponents. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So we have 10 to the 2 plus 2 plus 2. To be 10 to the 6th that way, which is what we found out it was going to be anyway with that too. So just a couple different ways to get there with all those things too. So remember, when you have a power to a power, you're going to be multiplying with all those things too. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Once again, your assignment is going to be on page 237, and the answers to these are in the back of the book, so you can go back and check your progress. If you still have any questions on something, you're more than welcome to give me a holler with that. This is section 5 of this unit, and then the next one, 5-6, kind of talks a little bit more about scientific notation. But right now we just got you up to 5-5, and we'll kind of go from there with that. So anyway, hope you're having a great day. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Otherwise, we will see you on down the road. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.